It's fun, fun,
You're doing
fun.
it. Okay.
Here we are, everyday leaders. Woohoo! In the house, we have Diane,
Woo-hoo!
Dick. Today, we are so excited. I know, most of these things are real formal, and like me, everyday leaders, and we're living our life with success. And today, I didn't make a little announcement. I didn't do anything except for I just posted in the Everyday Leaders group. Join Diane Dick in the Everyday Leaders live because
Woo-hoo!
Diane and I, we are connecting, we're trying to add value to people, and so we just wanted to hop on here and do what we do best, talk. Talk
And
to
this is the odd couple here, you see. Because Melanie is the creative, spontaneous, let's just do it kind of a person. And I can be like that. Today I am definitely like that. But as she and I know, as an inside joke, is I'm the structured, organized one that wants to know things ahead of time. And all our listeners that are savvy to the personality profiles, you just labeled us right there.
Oh, Joe Ake is on here. Yes. Hey, Joe. How are you? What part of the house are you in? So as we're quarantined, I have to just open this up by saying Diane is waiting on a very, very special package. And
Yes.
if the doorbell rings and the dogs go crazy, we're gonna let her go get the door.
And I will unwrap it right in front of you.
And we're gonna have happy hour right here.
And then we will show, yeah, we will show a happy hour. So now we were going to talk about
Oh
all this
gosh.
new way of stuff, all this new way of training and communicating and connecting. Is this not, to be honest with you, a lot of us, is this not getting crazy? But I would also kind of say, is this not getting a little fun? In again, a warped way of looking at it, maybe for some, but look at all the things we're doing differently now than what we were doing and how we were doing before all of this started.
Exactly. We were doing this stuff. We were connecting with people because that's our human nature, but we have to do it different. And that comes
Yeah.
back to what is our comfort zone and can we actually do things differently with the same type of results, right?
Yeah.
So the results are we have to connect, we want to learn, we want to be able to support ourselves and our families and value the things that we value in our life.
Mhm.
Don't you think we're really getting that done? Now, if we're a waitress, if we're a servant, industry that we had to shut down and close, those are
Yeah,
really critical, different
absolutely.
situations.
And
And
we keep
I'm
them in our prayers for
and
sure.
and who knows what that's gonna turn out to be like and how long that's gonna actually last. We
Yeah.
hope not long. And so there are but many people, I think every single person in my life says, "How can I give to help those people in need right now?"
Mhm.
Because it is a difficult time.
Mhm.
And so companies have said if you want to take vacation time, if they are closing down for some reason, everybody is trying to come to a solution
Yeah.
because it is not forever, guys. This is not permanent. This is a temporary fix. But what we can do is step into the things that, like Diane said, we can create and make this fun in the midst of chaos because
Yeah.
nobody was prepared for this, right? Nobody was
Yeah.
prepared. And so what Diane why I wanted to bring Diane on is we met a few years ago online, and then we decided
Online
intentionally
dating, but we won't tell anybody
yeah,
that.
yeah, online. And so, but then we said, "Hey, I was gonna be in San Antonio for something for work," and we said, "Hey, we should meet." And so we set up a time
Mhm.
and, oh, my camera is like, "Woo." We set up a time to meet, and we did we had margaritas already?
That's what I was about to say. You've already started your happy hour. What the hell?
No, look at that. I'm
Oh,
taking a
there you
little
go.
I'm taking a break, right? So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so we met at the San Antonio Riverwalk. We
Mhm.
had lunch and then we had fun creating what would it look like if we partnered in certain things that we were really passionate about. So about 3 or 4 months later, Diane comes to Indianapolis. We start creating on this whiteboard about a program called Life and Business by Design. And it was essentially to have people walk through every night a different kind of activity, a different book, a different study. And it broke into life personal goals, and
Personal growth.
business goals. Misael Diaz, Greg Storch, Diane, Donna Rice, Dennis LaRue. All these people have been
Mhm.
coaches and teachers with us. And still every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, we offer these programs. So for a very limited budget, you can join and you can participate with us. And we love to help. Now we've gotten it down to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays because of the changes in some of our coach staff. But we really believe, Diane and I both believe, there is so much value, and we provide this with it's such a low cost way to be able to understand what coaching is all about or to begin a personal growth plan. And so if you're interested in learning more about that, let us know because we would love to help you. You can go right to either Legacy Training and Development or to everydayleaders.com.
Mhm.
Contact us and we will help you just understand what
Absolutely.
that program is because it has so much value. And for 2 years, um, I was training on the 15 laws of growth. Now, I'm going
Mhm.
to just say real quick, since March 22nd, 2017, thank you for coffee. um, every week I have trained on that book every single
It's an
week
amazing, yeah,
and it has changed my life.
yeah,
And so, we do the things in these programs that we are passionate that we can pour into you on.
yeah.
So, because we've changed that, I'm starting another class April the 5th on Sundays. And so, that's something else that we can add value to you. Diane is a chief inspiration officer, which I love that title. But when we think of training and development, your whole company, your whole design of what you do is to go to corporations and help them design programs
Mhm.
on safety cultures
Mhm.
and developing how to become more efficient in their work cultures. And
Mhm.
so, tell us a little bit about what you're doing on that side of the business, Diane, and then I want to ask you after that. I want to talk to you about play with purpose.
Perfect. Thanks. And it's great to be on. And hi everybody that's watching it now, or hi everybody's watching it in the future. Great to be. As Mel said, we've had just a fun journey together over the last few years, and it just the future is bright because we're going to make it bright. Both of us see very intentionally, and we live our life very intentionally, but we have fun doing it. And I'm a believer those two go together. Mel, you talked a little bit about the by design. And what we have to offer. And both you and I are doing lots of programs or different opportunities to help people, right? But it isn't an interesting, and I think this is human nature. I talk about this even in my safety training that you alluded to, is sometimes for us to change, we have to be backed up in a corner,
Mhm.
or we have to be made to change before we sometimes start to open up those opportunities that are around us that, to be honest with you, they were all around us before, the virus hit us.
Wait a
All
minute. What you're saying is if you're structured, you can be creative.
absolutely. Excuse me, I do not have the virus, but I do have a little bit of a dry throat. So I will be drinking some water. But the thing is, think about going back in time for a minute. We never started to wear seatbelts in our cars until someone made us wear seatbelts. And then once we got exposed to them and we started wearing them, then we started to believe in them, right? In today's time, this virtual stuff has been around for a while now. I mean, FaceTime, Skype, all the different Google, all these have been around for a while, and there have been some people that have been using it a little bit. But now, look what's opening up is right now we have to use it. We have to find alternative ways, and so those companies are booming because they have opened up a floodgate of now people that are learning how to use these virtual platforms and these virtual opportunities connect, whether it be just face to face talking to each other, meeting, training, coaching, all these things. And now, as I think we all know, this is probably going to be a much popular way to stay connected in the future, because everybody now is number one, getting exposed to it, but then two, starting to feel comfortable with it, because it is a different way of connecting, right? And so the more people start using it, getting exposed to it, and feeling comfortable about it, is what then starts to create that next wave of change. And I think you and I have had conversations so many times about this idea of obstacles versus opportunities, right? Of really looking at life through, you know, a certain lens. And we all, you know, part of I guess, going back to your question, Mel, of legacy training and development, my company was really formed out of it's a tribute to my mom and dad. It's an absolute direct tribute to my mom and dad, who were both very active in my hometown. My father was a pharmacist, my mom was a nurse, and then a stay-at-home mom. But as we grew older and the four kids, I'm the youngest of four, moved away from home, then came back to visit. We started to hear all these stories about my mom and dad and the impact they made in the communities, and how people remembered them, and all the fun they had with all the parties, because my mom and dad were quite sociable, as you can imagine. That all got passed down to the kids.
Imagine.
But which might have something to do with my delivery today. See, it all comes back around.
So you don't have to be so structured. See?
But anyway, so the fact is, though, that when I grew older and really started to appreciate them in a different light, right? As we get older, we appreciate our parents differently. They both passed away. And when I was coming up with this name for my company, you know, that word legacy just kept pinging out to me. It's like, that's exactly really what my mom and dad have done. They've left a legacy in our community. And that's really what I want to do too. I want to be able to think back and be able to feel confident that, one, when my day is done and I leave this earth, that I've done something worthwhile, that I've given back and I've contributed to the good. And again, that's, I know that big high level, but I think we're all trying to do that. Yep. But at the same time, I also believe, and this is part of what my mission is, and I think all of ours is I want to intentionally and purposely think into how I'm doing that now, right? Because you are building your legacy today. You and I on this call are building a legacy, because we are on here trying to add value and give back to others. We learn from each other. We are living into life. Mm-hmm. And I think that what happens is, a lot of times when we run into these huge obstacles, I mean, this is a big one. I know we all agree with it. This is a big one. But when we run into this, how we show up matters. You know, how we show up matters. How we look at this situation matters. And it matters to how you're going to come out of it. And when it gets back to, when I say normal, what you do now matters to what's going to be, 6 months from now, a year from now, or when normalcy, whatever that looks like, starts to come back. And I think, to take this time off and feel like you're going to just skate through it, or, skirt it out and just hide away from home, I think a lot of us are kidding ourselves. I think this is the time to bear down when you have the opportunity. And I think the last thing I want to share, and I'll throw it back to you, Mel, is those folks that are out of work, which God knows we share our prayers. I mean, we're kind of out of work too, to a certain extent, but not like those waitresses and the salons and the, folks that really are out of work and paycheck to paycheck. I mean, my heart goes out to those folks for absolutely sure. But again, I kind of say the same thing, is we're backed into a corner. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to come out? That's right. And the programs you and I offer, the by design programs, and you have your everyday leaders, and I have other legacy training and stuff like that. This is the time to find some programs that are economical for you, because I know money is an issue, but you can invest in yourself. Mm-hmm. Because, the more skilled you are, right, then the better you're going to be in life. And so when you run into these obstacles, you have something to fall back on, mm-hmm. or you have other ways to make ends meet.
Mm.
And I think that's what people need to set themselves up for. And I think now, unfortunately, now we've been backed into that corner where we almost have to do that. But I
Mhm.
also think by doing that and taking those steps to, learn a new skill or a trade or a new way of making money, or take the way you're making money and change the way you're delivering it, which is what you and I are doing a lot, going from face to face to virtual. But figure out a way to continue to leverage off of your strengths and what you have to offer, but get some things in place so you have a backup plan to life and to
And,
business.
but that sounds so easy, when we
I
sit here and
agree with
talk
you.
about it, right?
I
And when you're
agree.
in the middle of chaos and you're
Yeah,
a mom with 3 kids
yeah,
and you were a server and that was your life, that's how you made your income, right? And now
yeah,
your kids are at home
yeah,
and you're at home.
yeah.
And so that's the struggle. That's the real struggle of people saying, like we talk about in our morning Bible study. I've been doing a morning Bible study since October 1st. I mean,
Yes, you
that'll be
have.
6 months next week. It's crazy.
Wow, that is
Uh,
crazy. And you
but,
just started it to start it.
I just started it because I needed
Yeah,
accountability. I needed to say, "Get out of bed every morning and get to a like-minded group of people." And now the masterminds that I'm on, I mean, oh my goodness, the people that I've been connected to and growing through. And so, somebody said, "Hello, Diane." It doesn't say Facebook user, that's all it says. You can type your name in there if you'd like. But what's interesting is how much now we've come together and we've said, what were we being prepared for?
yeah,
Right? So, even if you can't figure it out right now because that single mom that's staying home now with 3 kids and has to teach them, there
right.
may only be 1 device in the house
Yeah,
that they're learning with, and so
that's,
you've gotta make tons of sacrifices.
yeah.
Oh, it's Joyce. Hi. Hi, mom. Uh, but the big thing
Yeah,
is how you figure it out, right?
yeah,
If your neighborhood or your community, even though you've got to be social distancing, that's the challenge too. So all these obstacles are how are we going to figure it out? Are your kids going to get online and are they going to help teach each other, right?
yeah,
And I've heard a lot of parents say, I don't even know how to do the homework that these kids are doing,
yeah.
right? I don't know how to help them. And so, a lot of talked to a lot of teachers and a lot of educators, and they're trying to do, weekly um, connections with the students and give them assignments, more like a college program.
Hmm.
And so, nothing is permanent again, but
Yeah,
it's really uncomfortable in the middle of it because you're just like, how are we ever going to get through it? Especially as a parent, are my kids ever going to learn what they need to learn? These seniors that are graduating this year, they're not going to have a normal end of the year, but that's okay, right?
hmm,
Don't stress out over that. I
yeah,
think my message is make it something special for them, right? Think
yeah,
about the money you're saving on, I know this is not easy, but the proms and the graduations and the things that you may not be able to do like you did, take that and make it something really unique for your family.
yeah,
Uh,
yep,
and make it a positive experience because it is not normal for everybody, right?
yeah,
And so you're not the only one, but it feels that way.
yep.
When you're going through it, it
Absolutely.
feels like you're the only one. So,
Which is
uh,
great to get in, the different support groups, where they be parenting groups or anything, different kinds of support groups. I have a friend of mine who is an ex-teacher, retired teacher, and she's trying to figure out something to kind of add value and purpose in life. And you hit the exact thing I told her, is that, is there a way for you to do tutoring and provide tutoring to these parents, or with the kids, with parents, that the parents are having a hard time understanding this new way of adding and subtracting and math and this schoolwork? I mean, it's a perfect way that you could actually even make some money off of it, or you could give it as, volunteer time, either way. But it's a way for you to continue to add value to help these challenged parents.
mhm,
And you could easily set up things, and whether you're a teacher that's out of work right now, a substitute, or even a regular full-time teacher, because not everybody's doing all this online stuff.
yep.
you know you, there are ways to find value and to add value, to other people that need it, and probably within your niche.
Mhm. Probably within your niche, and there's a lot of things that we don't even think about. I mean, if you just sit down with so here's an exercise, right? Take out a piece of paper right now. Go to your go to your book, whatever, open up a book, get a piece of paper out, and write down this. What makes your heart sing, right? What makes your heart sing? Not no money included. What makes your heart sing? What
Mhm.
brings you joy? What brings you joy? And how
Mhm.
can you add value to others? Those are the three things you should be thinking about right now. And then, in addition to that, right, what strengths do you have? So, what strengths do you naturally have? What do people tell you? Oh my gosh, you should do that, right?
Mhm.
Yes, you may be an accountant, but you know what? You really like to do A, B, or C. You're really
Mhm.
good at it. That's your hobby, that's your pastime. Maybe you look at your hobby today because you
Mhm.
have some time and you
Mhm.
invest a little bit more. You get on YouTube, you take a
Mhm.
class, you
Mhm.
do a live training. If you are one that people come to listen to, figure out this Zoom thing for 40 minutes. It's free.
It's free and it's easy.
And it's really easy, and all you just need your phone, right? You can have somebody else hold your phone up and video you on
Mhm.
Zoom or do a video and put it
On
up. It doesn't have to
Facebook.
be
Mhm.
perfect, right? And but get your message out there of the
Yeah.
things that you can do to offer services to other
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
Like you said, for tutoring, I think that's great, thinking
Yeah.
about taking lessons for whatever it is.
Yep.
Cooking, I mean, hello, I am not a cook. But now I have to stay home. We cannot go through drive-through. I'm terrified about getting anything through a drive-through because of the passing of the germs. So I'm like, yeah, you could, but why would you? Right? It's terrifying.
Mhm.
So if you can just stay at home and make all your meals, well, now it takes a little bit of structure. So
I
it's
was so
stretching me.
excited to see you said, oh, you posted that you were learning how to cook, and I was like, "Go, Mel!"
I know. I mean, I've had everything. When Pampered Chef came out, I bought one of everything, I
You
think.
do. You have a stock kitchen. I've been in your kitchen,
It's crazy. We have a
but it
basement
doesn't do
full of
it itself.
no. So, it's like the turkey breast. I'm always like, "Oh, the meat, I'm afraid that I won't cook it right." So now I don't even care. It's like it'll just cook till I figure it's done.
You
And
know the
and
fun.
then right? And so then it's like getting creative with the vegetables. And so what you find is you do enjoy it when you have the time, when you're really
Yeah.
thinking into it and you give yourself the structure. Okay, Diane, here you go. You get an A plus. If you think about the structure that it takes to do something that you really want to learn,
Mhm.
that you want to learn how to do, right? I
Mhm.
have to I have to survive now. I can't just be hot dogs and lunch meat.
Mhm.
So, but making that structure of, okay, really think into it. And
Mhm.
so making a plan about it and making a
Mhm.
goal. So you have to
Mhm.
eat, you have to survive. And
Mhm.
then it has been really making it fun and creative, right?
Well,
Doing
and that's
doing things different.
yeah, and that's what I was thinking because along with that, then if you have kids at home, and again, I know this is easier said than done for parents. So, um, but if you can get your kids involved and any other things you have going on, even certain types of housework and stuff, because I think this is also the time to get creative with the education. Because I can easily teach math if I'm cooking because I'm measuring things, and adding and I mean, there's just so many different lessons that you can teach as you do everyday tasks around the house.
Mhm.
And so I think, to your point, I think we again, when we're backed up into a corner and sometimes have to come out and have to start changing our routines, you start doing things, differently. I posted on my Facebook page the other day of all the different blessings, the good that's coming out of this. And that was one of them is we're learning something new. We're willing, either taking the time or to actually learn something new that we've maybe always wanted to do.
Mhm.
You're spending more time with family. I know that's a yin and yang probably for some people, but you are spending more time with family. And again, going back to kind of my story and my company story is these are the times where you're creating a legacy. These are the time you spend with other people, the time you spend with your kids and your spouse, that's the time they remember.
That's
And
right.
I don't want everybody to underestimate that. Yes, as challenging as these times are, please also see it as a blessing because if you would rewind your life 6 months ago before all this started, I bet one of the things that a lot of us were saying was, I wish we had more time together as a family.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Well, here
Here
you
we go.
go. So take advantage of it.
Yep. And figure out, really be listening, right? The listening skills are going to be really
Mhm.
critically important
Yep.
because your kids, no matter what age, that's what they do remember is the time that they spend with you. So,
I do.
learning to do a puzzle together or
Yeah.
playing a game off the shelf that you've got back in
Yeah.
your closet, right?
Yeah.
Get those things out like it's Christmas, that pretend like it's Christmas break
Yeah.
and just relax. You don't have to go to grandma's, you don't have to go to your aunt and uncle's, you don't have to go anywhere and drag presents around. You just get to have that quality time of, okay, Christmas is over and we're just chilling. And
Yeah.
so just add value to each other any way that you can. And I think, those are the lessons that I've seen that have been so
Mhm.
powerful in people creating new ways to do things. And there's not even a book about it, right? So it's whatever feels right in your space,
Mhm.
whatever industry you're in. I do wanna say, a shout out to all those healthcare workers because I have been on the front lines for many years, and it is a really scary place to be. And so if you think about the timing, on March 13th, we were all told, "Hey, this is really important. We're gonna start quarantining people because it's really scary. It's a slippery kind of virus, and it can move from person to person very quickly." And so think about that. Today is March the 26th, right? So that's been 13 days,
Yeah.
right? So it's been about the time that you would think that you don't have symptoms, now that you may start showing symptoms if you are exposed. So what's happening is if you're not staying home, and I'm not going to sit on my pulpit and preach to you, but I just want to tell you how important this is. If you've been out and exposing yourself to people, all of those healthcare workers have been exposed for 13 days or more. And so
Over and over and over again.
they are starting to now be quarantined in their own homes. So that's looking different for them. They're exhausted and they are staying home and they have to now spend 14 days. So the next 2 weeks that you're complaining about, I can't believe it's been a month and I have to do this. You've actually gotten so much of a break to start figuring out the things that are important to you.
Yeah.
Our healthcare workers on the front line, they're exhausted and they're getting exposed and now they're getting
Absolutely.
quarantined. So their families are looking to them, but they can't be with their families. They have to be quarantined. So it's really, really important. I just want to say that I've got lots of friends and families that are going through this, and they're all
Yeah.
starting to recognize that they could be the next one with symptoms, and they may end up in the hospital as a patient. So
Well,
it's
and think about that
scary.
snowball. Think
Yes,
about that whole snowball effect where the healthcare givers, the nurses, the doctors, the caretakers and everything are the ones that are sick. Then where do we go? I
that's
mean,
that's right. So if
I
we
mean
just
that
stay home, right? If we just stay
yeah,
home and say, "What is this gonna look like?" Figure
yeah,
out what you're gonna do,
yeah,
and just take the directive,
yeah,
to do the right thing right now because, they know what
yeah,
viruses do, and they say if 14 days, if you can stay quarantined with your family and just stay in that same environment, then you're gonna be safe.
yeah,
And so then when they release, that it's kind of passed through the system, it'll be more like the flu, and it won't be such
right,
crazy virus that's going to take over, and nobody will be there to help you,
yeah,
because you want to make sure we don't overload the healthcare systems. I mean, they're doing so many things in this emergency to try to
mhm,
take care of us, but you don't want to be a statistic,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that can change in a heartbeat. So
absolutely. Well,
just
Mel, one of the things you talked about just right before that was, we were talking about the time spending with family and whatnot. And I'd mentioned to you before we got on this call with everybody, I was just on a fabulous other webinar that was from a great friend of mine and colleague that has a company called Training Wheels, and I don't mind promoting her because I buy a lot of stuff from her. But did a great almost 2 hour webinar on virtual activities, virtual icebreakers and activities. And anybody, I know you mentioned it up front, but the other thing that I've been involved with is this Facebook page, basically group Play with Purpose. And the whole idea is to help people. It started off really helping other facilitators learn how to incorporate experiential learning. And when I use that term experiential learning, how I define that is learning by doing, discussing, and applying, all three of those areas. And so I've been really working with facilitators to learn how to incorporate activities into their coaching and their training and their speaking. And so with us moving into this whole virtual platform, then my shift has been, and Michelle's shift has been from Training Wheels, is this whole idea how to help and equip people in virtual activities. And so if that is of interest of anybody's, go and find my Play with Purpose website, or I can put it in the comments over here. Not the website, excuse me, the Facebook page. And follow us and join us, because not only are we learning new games that you can play if you are in the coaching, speaking, and training kind of venue, but there are also great activities you can use with your kids and your families during this time. Not only is our challenge, I think, as parents to, educate and continue the education, but this is also a fabulous time to connect with your family. So if you think about the old-fashioned values of sitting around the table and eating dinner together, sitting around the table, as you mentioned earlier, putting a puzzle together or playing a board game together and things like that. But these games that I share on Play with Purpose are also ways to connect. When I say connect, really get to know more about what's going on in your kid's life. And so different icebreaker, conversational type of exercises that ask questions of each other to share things about ourselves. How are we dealing with? Yeah, thanks a lot. So that's what the cover page looks like, Play with Purpose. So that's what you're looking for. And so I share a lot of different activities on there. I share links to different resources. That's one of the, that's what I just got off of. That's Michelle Cummings. But she also has a guide that I've posted on the Facebook page with, I think, 20 something, 30, I think, different icebreaker activities to use: team building, problem solving, and they're puzzle activities. But if you are teaching your kids or working with your kids at home, there's some great activities in there. Although she's delivering them virtually, and how you can use them virtually, you can use them right there at your kitchen table as well. And the beauty of these things is they don't take much. Much material. Nothing you have to go buy a bunch of stuff. Yep. And right there, I've got a bunch of different activities that either I've posted or some other people have posted on there that you can use, whether it be virtual or in person. So it's a pretty good resource. And that's my niche. I mean, I've been doing experiential learning. I started working in the ropes course world probably over 30 years ago. So it definitely is in my blood. And I highly believe that we learn best by really playing and having some fun. Engaging in conversations together. So if you guys are out here watching this and you're interested in any of that, please join us. It's a very informal page, but we all chip in different ideas. But I will also be posting the link to this webinar that I was just on prior to jumping on with you, Mel. I'll post it in the Play with Purpose. It's about 2 hours long. I'm not going to lie. It's a long one, but it will walk you through how to facilitate the activities that are in the guide that I just posted. Not my facilitator guide, because I also created one, but the other virtual guide that I have posted right there you were showing.
That's great.
So just some really, really good ideas, folks, if you're looking for things to do with your families or in your trainings and virtual events, mastermind groups, things like that.
I'm going to post a link to your Facebook group right here. Now, it's a private group, so you have to ask to join. But if you go right to, it should show that Facebook group there. So if you go right to that group page, then you can link to Diane and the Play with Purpose group.
Yeah, that would be great. Oh, my dog's barking and she's growling a little bit, and I thought I heard a truck. So we will see. I don't know. We will see if my house goes wild here in a minute.
We can't miss it.
And they do usually come around this time, so you never know.
You never know.
Happy hour could be coming.
Oh my God.
You can hear
Sadie and Sophie.
Yeah, no, it's only the young one. The young one is my barker.
Hi, Sophie.
So for folks that don't know, I have two Labradors. I have two beautiful labs. I've got a black one and a Sadie and a white one, Sophie. And so they're their own stars in their own in their own right.
In their own right.
Anybody who knows me knows my dogs better than.
Oh my God, look at that.
Oh, that's too funny. All right. Well,
All right. So I have to promote 10 can moments. I have my shirt on today.
Yay. I had mine on the other day.
Yay. So our friend Sonia, for those of you that came to the event, and for those of you that have been following Everyday Leaders, you know that Sonia has created this 10 can moment movement. Absolutely. So just to kind of remind people in this really crazy time to be thinking of ways to be grateful for all of those things that you can still give to people and that you can still show up and provide. And so I wore this today. I was out, took a little break and got some fresh air and thought, people need to see this. And on the back of it, it says, if you don't know, tap me on the shoulder, ask me about 10 can moments. And so if you need to know more about that, you need to go to 10canmoments.com, Sonia Etchemendy. And I'm going to put that in the post too, because those are things, if you are looking for ways just to do different things in your life and practice gratitude, these are things that are really easy. And when you've got your family together, you can start a new legacy, like what Diane's talking about. So,
well, and so much of the focus is, and it's so easy to get into that negative mindset with the news and everything. And again, I'm not blasting anybody. We just keep hearing about it. It's so hard to get away from it. So it really does help shift your focus to what's good. What gratitude, what are the good things that we can appreciate out of the situation. And I think, what is it, John, where your energy goes, your focus goes, where you're, something like that. Anyway,
what he said the other day is what you view is what you do.
Okay. And that, yep.
I love that.
Is what you do. And I think that's very true.
It's here. It's here. Okay. We gotta okay, everybody, get ready. Get ready. We were talking about this. This is a great present. This is a great surprise. And we're gonna do it live.
Stop.
We're gonna do it live. This is gonna be
heads and suit. Okay, so do you want to open this on live on your thing? Okay, you need to keep them. I need to go get it. So tell them what's going on. Okay.
So all right. So as the dogs are barking, this is really great. So Diane ordered a kind of a Keurig machine, if you think about a Keurig machine, but this is for more adult beverages. And so she had posted it. She was so excited to get it. And she got the Keurig pods, but she didn't get the actual drink container like the Keurig machine. It's not a Keurig, but it's like one of those. So anyway, yesterday she was out walking the dogs, getting some air and refreshments, and went down to the lake, and they tried to deliver it. But they had to sign for it. So they left a note on her door. So after all this time, when she's been waiting for it. So we were talking, yes, the package is going to be delivered, and it's probably going to be delivered while we're online. So I wanted her to get it out and share it with everybody, because here we go. She's got everything else ready and waiting to
nail this on your show. This is
I feel like this is The Price is Right.
This is the most important show you've ever had.
This is so crazy.
How it is, a box inside of a box, right?
It is always a box inside of a box. This is great. Oh, this is great. So the thing is, it got delayed. It got lost the first time, and she's been like waiting and waiting and waiting for this to arrive. And oh, look at it! All right, it makes the perfect adult beverage, the Bartesian experience. So again, think of this as pre-mixed contents, and then you're going to be able to just put this in here. I cannot wait for her to open this. Hurry up, Diane.
Time.
Oh my goodness, it's like Christmas. So what she'll be able to do is, is that glassware? Look at that.
So it has these a bunch of glass bottles. Mm-hmm. So this is where you'll put your alcohol or your mix, and you'll stick it down in there. So you will have to transfer your liquor and you'll end up filling up these bottles with different liquor, and you can move them around. Hang on, I have to take all these out to be able to get to the other part. There's 6 of them they give you. So I have to say, I am an impulse buyer.
This is a PG-13 show.
I'm not an addictive impulse buyer, but I will be the first to tell you I am kind of an impulse. So when this came by, right before the coronavirus thing, it just seemed to be something I had to have because it seemed like a great idea.
All right. Well, and if you know Diane, she likes to have social environments. It's fun to hang out with Diane. So
that is a legacy from my parents. So I have to give my parents credit for that.
Yep.
All right. So, dang it.
And in your new house, oh, look at that. It looks like it does look like a Keurig machine.
So let me
check it out. It does look like a Keurig.
Do a separate Facebook Live once I get it all set up.
Check it out.
So this is what it looks like. Let me kind of go. I may have to scoot back a little bit. So that's what it looks like. So it's nice looking, I will say. It has more on the bottom here than I thought it was going to have. So I do have a space for it. I'll have to refinagle a little bit.
That's neat.
And so your bottles, I think, will go in here. You see how that goes like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then, hang on just a second here. I'm on my island here in my kitchen. So now, mind you, I've had these for about 2 weeks. I've had all the mixes. But I haven't had the machine to make it. So here's what the box looks like. Now this comes with it. So this is a combination of a whiskey sour, a margarita, an old fashioned, a Long Island iced tea, a cosmopolitan, and Uptown Rocks. I don't know what that is. And so when you open this is now, see? All right, there we go. There's 6 pods, I believe. Yep. And so that is what your pod looks like. I don't know.
Very cool. Just like a Keurig.
Yeah. It's like a Keurig. It's got your mix in there. And so that we'll mix this with your liquor, because this does not have liquor in it, and it makes your drink. And there's a setting on it that is either a weak, which that's what I would give you, medium, which I don't know who you'd give that to, and then extra strong, which is what you'd give me.
That's so cool.
So at a later date, so that we don't really, take up, because there's probably nobody watching this now.
We have 7 viewers.
Although we know who you are if you are watching. If you are watching right now, you're invited to my party, because now I know what kind of peep you are. So there'll be a virtual happy hour coming soon, and I will make you whatever kind of drink you want.
We just lost one. Oh, that's hilarious. The great thing is, once you do this Facebook Live on here, I can't wait to watch the process, because we're all going to be raising our glasses with celebrating.
I'm telling you. So I will make a post as to when I'm going to do this. Let me kind of figure it all out, and so I can figure out how it works. But that was really not why we were coming on here today. But it was added value, extra value. You always get a little extra something from us.
You always get that little bit. Oh my gosh. Well, I tell you, this has been really fun, and I want to encourage people, go back through here. If you joined us late, go back to Play with Purpose. If you are interested in doing any coaching classes for your life or business, and you want to develop a plan, and you want to join more of it's kind of a monthly membership where we can coach you through Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday nights. We do it from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. And then you also have 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern for coaching on Saturday. So it's kind of group coaching, but it's a lot of fun. And we absolutely, between Diane and I and Dennis LaRue, we offer these programs every week. So
Yeah.
Join us. We would
Yep.
love to have you and connect to you, and
Absolutely.
lots of great stories from people that have been with us for a couple of years, and it's
Yep.
and we just absolutely love adding value. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, any of the folks you're working with, this is the time to communicate with folks, whether it be with your family, whether it be with friends, obviously, if you have any elderly in your life, but also if you're working within companies, this is the time to communicate, communicate, communicate.
and learn
And both
skills.
Mel and I can help you do that. We can help you create communication strategies. We can create things for you, whether it be posters or graphics or all kinds of things to help you communicate to your team better. Sending out, I know I have a lady that put together a coronavirus video. If you want to send out some information to your folks, I mean, there's just a lot of different ways you can get information out to people in creative ways. So Mel and I can help you with any of that. So
It's all about creativity and
it
just
really is. It's
starting
thinking outside the box.
thinking differently,
Yeah.
because you can and you have the
Yeah.
time, and I know it's scary for a lot of people, but it's possible.
Yes.
And lots
Absolutely.
of really great things are coming out of all this. So
Yeah.
so reach out to us, and we will
Yeah.
let everybody go. But
Yeah.
Diane, thanks for hopping on
All
here.
right. Take it easy,
Uh,
Mel. Good to see you.
great to see you. Have fun
All
with your
right.
turkey.
All right. Look for my Facebook Live later on this
Okay.
evening.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
I do not. I'm gonna